Imagine growing up under the shadow of a monstrous legacy. The children of Nazi leaders lived a life of privilege, but at what cost? This video dives into the hidden truths of their world, the secrets they kept, and how they grappled with the sins of their fathers and mothers in the aftermath of World War II. Prepare to be surprised by the choices they made and the burdens they carried. Nicholas Frank. Nicholas Frank wasn't born evil, but evil loomed large. Born in 1939, his father, Hans Frank, was Hitler's right-hand man in Poland, earning the chilling nickname the Butcher of Poland. While Nicholas was too young to grasp the Holocaust's horrors, his life became a constant battle with his father's dark legacy. Unlike some who try to bury the past, Nicholas chose the painful path of confrontation. He dedicated himself to understanding his father's monstrous deeds and their impact on him. Books like In the Shadow of the Reich became his weapons, exposing the truth and his struggle to make sense of it all. But Nicholas' fight extends beyond his own story. He tirelessly educates others about the Holocaust scars, not just on victims, but also on the families of those who perpetrated the crimes. His raw honesty adds a powerful dimension to Holocaust remembrance, a stark warning against the dangers of unchecked hatred. Nicholas Frank is a living reminder that the father's sins cast long shadows, yet his courage to confront the darkness offers a glimpse of hope, a testament to the power of truth and the fight for a better future. Gudrun Himmler. Gudrun Himmler, born in 1929, wasn't your typical child. Her father, Heinrich Himmler, wasn't a local businessman. He was the architect of the Holocaust, a man responsible for the systematic murder of millions. Yet Gudrun remained a devoted daughter, blind to her father's monstrous crimes. Heinrich showered Gudrun with affection, nicknaming her Puppy and flying her to his Berlin office. While other children played tag, Gudrun witnessed her father, a key figure in Nazi Germany. After the war, Gudrun refused to believe the truth. She clung to the fantasy of a murdered father, insisting he was assassinated and that he did not take his own life by using cyanide. Captured by Allied forces, she and her mother were eventually released. But Gudrun's story doesn't end there. She dedicated her life to whitewashing her father's legacy. She joined a clandestine group, the Silent Aid, which supported imprisoned Nazis. Gudrun's unwavering loyalty paints a chilling picture, a daughter clinging to a monstrous father, a stark reminder of the burdens carried by the next generation. Albert Speer, Jr. Albert Speer wasn't born into an ordinary family. Born in 1934, just days before Hitler's rise to power, his childhood unfolded in Berchtesgaden, a village nestled in the Alps where Hitler himself had a mountain retreat. Home movies even captured young Albert Jr. playing on Hitler's porch, all under the watchful eye of a dictator. His father, Albert Speer Sr., held immense power in Nazi Germany. As Hitler's architect and armaments minister, Speer Sr. was instrumental in keeping the Nazi war machine running, heavily reliant on forced labor that prolonged the war. However, unlike many high-ranking Nazis, Speer Sr. eventually expressed regret for the regime's atrocities after his conviction and imprisonment at Nuremberg. The weight of this legacy fell heavily on Albert Jr. Following his father's imprisonment, the family found refuge with his grandparents. It was during this difficult time that a severe stutter developed, a hurdle which he eventually overcame. He pursued carpentry initially, but architecture, his father's profession, eventually drew him in. But Albert Jr. was determined to forge his own path. He refused to let his father's legacy define him. In interviews, he avoided discussing his father, stating his lifelong effort to separate himself from that dark influence. Albert Speer Jr. passed away in 2018 at the age of 83. His life story serves as a reminder of the burdens carried by the next generation, the struggle to define oneself apart from a parent's monstrous legacy. Martin Bormann Jr. Martin Bormann Jr. wasn't born evil. Born in 1930, he was just a child as his father, a high-ranking Nazi official in Hitler's inner circle, orchestrated horrors. Sheltered from the monstrous reality of the regime, his childhood was anything but ordinary. But the truth eventually hit. After the war, the weight of his father's crimes crushed him. Rebelling against his Nazi past, Bormann Jr. converted to Catholicism, seeking redemption in the church. He even traveled to Africa, working as a missionary in Congo and Cameroon, a stark contrast to his father's legacy of hate. However, a dark secret emerged in 2011. Accusations of abuse surfaced, with a former student alleging Bormann Jr. had inflicted violence in the 1960s. Further claims painted a picture of a disturbing past. Though Bormann Jr., battling dementia, couldn't defend himself, the accusations cast a long shadow. While legal action never materialized, the victim received compensation, a chilling reminder that the sins of the father can have twisted consequences. Martin Bormann Jr.'s life is a story of duality, privileged childhood under a monster, followed by a desperate attempt to escape the darkness. It forces us to confront the complexities of legacy and the power of redemption, forever stained by the shadows of the past. Edda Goring. Edda Goring wasn't your typical child. Born in 1938, just before the world plunged into war, she was the daughter of Hermann Göring, Hitler's right-hand man. Early life for Edda meant luxury and privilege within the grand walls of Karenhall, the Göring family estate. Her childhood photos, shared at Nazi events, painted a picture-perfect image, a perfect family for a monstrous regime. Lavished with gifts, Edda even received a priceless Cranach painting as a child, a symbol of the wealth amassed through Nazi plunder. But as the war raged on, the Göring family retreated to their mountain hideaway. The war's end shattered their world. Edda's father, sentenced to death for war crimes, took his own life. Edda, forever marked by her father's legacy, retreated from the public eye. Unlike others who grappled with their Nazi past, Edda remained silent, refusing to discuss her father publicly. In private, however, she clung to the belief that he was a good man. Years later, a legal battle erupted over the treasures Edda had received as a child, a stark reminder of the ill-gotten gains of the Nazi regime. Edda Goring passed away in 2018, a life forever intertwined with the monstrous legacy of her father. Her story is a chilling reminder of the children who grow up in the long shadow of evil, forever grappling with the weight of a tainted past. Wolf Hess. Wolf Hess was different from your typical son. His father, Rudolf Hess, wasn't a local businessman. He was Hitler's right-hand man, the deputy Führer of Nazi Germany. Unlike others who distanced themselves from such a monstrous legacy, Wolf spent his life defending his father. Rudolf Hess's infamy stemmed from his bizarre solo flight to Scotland in 1941, a supposed peace mission that backfired spectacularly. Captured by the British, he was later sentenced to life in Spandau prison, where he remained until he took his own life in 1987. Wolf, however, refused to believe his father was a villain. He tirelessly campaigned to change public perception, portraying Rudolf not as a war criminal, but as a man following orders in a bygone era. Teenage visits to his imprisoned father were only the beginning. In the 1950s, Wolf rallied support, forming a committee with hundreds of thousands of followers, even some prominent German figures. He authored books, fighting to recast his father as a German hero, not a criminal. Even after Rudolf's death, Wolf remained defiant. He insisted his father's death by taking his own life was a murder orchestrated by the British. Wolf died in 2001, unwavering in his defense of a man who stood beside Hitler. Wolf Hess's story is complex. It's a story of loyalty, of clinging to a version of history that absolves a parent of monstrous deeds. It's a stark reminder of the enduring power of ideology and the fight for historical truth, even in the face of those who desperately try to rewrite it. Rolf Mengele. Born in 1944, Rolf Mengele wasn't destined for an everyday life. His father, Josef Mengele, the infamous Angel of Death, who conducted horrific experiments in Auschwitz, cast a long shadow. Raised in ignorance, Rolf believed his father was a war hero. Only as a teenager did the horrifying truth come crashing down. Despite the weight of his name, Rolf chose a different path. He became a lawyer, starkly contrasting his father's monstrous deeds. Yet the past wouldn't stay buried. After the war, Josef Mengele fled to South America, leaving Rolf behind. Nazi hunters believed Rolf held the key to finding his father, and they were partly right. Mengele did write to his son, sparking a fateful 1977 trip to South America. Their encounter was chilling. Rolf saw no remorse in his father's eyes, only attempts to justify the atrocities. Torn between loyalty and disgust, Rolf couldn't betray his father. He kept Mengele's location a secret, allowing the Angel of Death to escape justice. Racked with guilt, Rolf chose to disappear, changing his identity and severing all ties. Today, Rolf is believed to be a retired lawyer, living a quiet life in Germany. But the shadow of his father's crimes continues to haunt him, a chilling reminder of the enduring legacy of evil and the difficult choices faced by those who carry its burden. Wow, that was a deep dive. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button and smash that like button because you won't want to miss the following videos. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.